would you say, like, we talk about psychological entropy on a personal level, on an individual level. Um, let's turn to social media. Let's turn to platforms like Twitter, which I have a love-hate relationship with. What where are you seeing psychological entropy on platforms such as these, and how can we sort of self-regulate, community regulate, so that we don't fall into that?
It's those are two questions. As you know, it's too easy to we make it too easy on social media to respond impulsively and knee jerk, and also there's reward structures to respond knee jerk. I can say unequivocally that whatever the word is, that or is it equivocally? I don't know. Whatever that word is, I can say for sure that when I give my hot take on something, like oh, these woke are annoying, I get a million likes, right? But if I'm just like, on the one hand, I think that we should have compassion for all humans, but on the other hand, we must not allow people from our in-group to have moral transgressions, even if people like 4 or 5 likes, right? Yeah. So it's like there's not a reward structure for thoughtfulness, for nuance, for integration, for for the things that the society desperately needs right now. And so that is a significant problem. But your second question, what can we do to change the culture? Well, that's not exactly how you phrase it, but I'm going to reframe it a little bit. I think there are things we can do to police it a little more. Not police. I don't even like that word police, but but correct. To change. Can I just say change the culture?
Sure.
And I try, and you're out there doing that every day yourself. Yeah. Chloe, I see you. But I try. Like, I'll say things like, I tweeted something yesterday. I was like, we need to not be afraid of telling the truth, but in equal measure, we need to not be afraid of showing love. These two are not at odds with each other. Mm-hmm. Now, that's the kind of culture that I want to see. So I think be the culture that you want it to be, and just keep doing it consistently. And some days you'll get no one paying attention, and some days you might get a lot of attention, but you can't do it for the attention, right? Day, and you just have to live your values, but you can't do it for the likes. You can't. There are a lot of people they're on Twitter and they say whatever they know will get a lot of likes. Yeah. And that's the deficiency motivation, right? Yeah. Right? Because you're only speaking because of the possibility that you get rewarded with likes. That's not the best, healthiest reason for speaking.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges is that people probably can recognize when they're experiencing material entropy. So like, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, but it's harder for people, I imagine, to recognize when they're experiencing psychological entropy, as in, oh, I'm actually just doing this because I want likes. To be able to pause and stop and confront yourself with that kind of radical honesty is something that I've struggled with, that I'm sure others have struggled with. So I think that's one of the challenges. It's like the psychological, spiritual dimension. It's difficult to sense and to intuit when you're in it, and when you are being rewarded for it. It's a kind of a reward that turns against itself. But it may be hard for a person who has 1 million followers to actually recognize that something is off here.
Yeah, I love what you're saying. Here's one just a tip: don't tweet when you're in certain moods. Simple as that. I can tell you that when I'm feeling, I get in moods sometimes where I feel so insecure, and I just want to go on Twitter and tweet something so that I'll feel better about myself, because people will like what I say. But I can say that in most of the cases when I've done that, what I've had to say, I regret what I said, like the next day. It's not coming from my real self.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, whoever. I mean, it's coming from
maybe your higher self. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's no real self. I should be clear. It's all you. It's all you. But and you need to take responsibility for the whole of you. But I do think that it's not the best self. It's not the best. It's not the side of me that I'm most proud of. Then when I look at that tweet the next day, the tweets that I've been most proud of really were the ones that came from a mood and a sort of mental state that I'm in that is not driven by deficiency. And
Yeah.
I can just say that clearly. I can see that so clearly. Do you see that as well? Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't actually. I haven't tried practicing tweeting when I'm in a certain mood. I do take 2 breaks off Twitter, so I will just be not on Twitter
Smart.
for 2 weeks, and people will be
Smart.
like, "Where?" And when I come back, people are like, "Oh, I haven't seen you in a while," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's because I take 2 weeks off." And I actually find just the entire, I don't know, process or mechanism of checking Twitter, seeing what people like, seeing what people retweet. That is it reminds me of the same process that creates addiction, quite frankly, because it's reciprocal narrowing. I think that's what it's called in some of the psychological literature that I've seen, where when you're in a specific context, you there's a study that was done that found that people who are in the Vietnam War were addicted to opioid, I think it was. And they found that once many of those soldiers came back from Vietnam, they were, and put into a different context, they almost immediately like got rid of their addiction. Like they were no longer addicted anymore. And so I find that Twitter can be this kind of environment that just turns on things in my brain that are not necessarily healthy. And when I'm not on Twitter for those 2 weeks, I'm telling you, Scott, it feels totally like the air has cleared. And obviously I want to have some relationship with it, with the platform, you know, but in moderation, because I have noticed that there's like a fog that dissipates when I'm not on Twitter for those 2 weeks.
Even if I just go weekend, I've been starting to have no email on weekends. Like no check. I mean, I wish I had no email on weekends. I mean, I don't check email on weekends. There's a difference. I wish you could just like, cut off the stream, but yeah. So if I go a whole weekend without, and I've been doing this recently, yeah, I enjoy my weekend.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I'm not used to that feeling where I'm like enjoying my weekend.
I will say, because I grew up observing Shabbat in some format, I typically don't work. I don't do work from Friday night to Saturday night. So I don't check emails from Friday night to Saturday night. I will check emails on Saturday night and Sunday. Maybe I should extend to include the full weekend. And I'm not there yet. I'm working on it. But I also want to make it so that I'm not checking Twitter or Instagram from Friday night to Saturday night. I give myself an entertainment pass, but that's just me bullshitting myself. So I want to get to the place where I'm not like on those platforms, at least for those 24 hours.
I love that. I must comment. I think you're more Jewish than I am, Chloe.
You're doing the Shabbat thing with the emails, that's basically in the.
That's true. The fasting. Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true.